Today's project, mounting a winch on an equipment trailer. So I bought a Champion 4,500 pound winch, and it's actually meant for ATVs, but 4,500 pounds should be enough for me to pull cars onto this trailer. This is a 9,900 pound GVWR trailer. So I also bought this winch plate, and I'm hoping that it mounts on. If not, I'll have to drill some holes to make this work. This winch plate was on Amazon, about 60 bucks I think, and it's a 36-inch plate. Looks like 1/8 steel. I plan to use some U-bolts to go around the frame here, or I'll use these longer bolts, drop them through and mount it that way. We'll see how it works out. My U-bolts that came in aren't long enough, but I might use the plate that it came with. Here's the U-bolts, and I might use this plate underneath with these long bolts to make that work. And I have a deep cycle battery with this battery box, and I'm going to try to mount that somewhere in this area. I haven't figured that out yet. So that's today's project. Some issues that I kind of foresee. If you look, I'm actually level here, so the winch line is going to be a little bit lower than the trailer. So I'm going to have to possibly put some kind of snatch block around this cross member here to hold it up, to keep it from rubbing on that metal. We'll see how it goes. So the U-bolts were definitely too short. This is what I've decided to do. I'm going to use these carriage bolts that go down just barely long enough, and I'm going to put this plate underneath to clamp it on, along with these two washers and two bolts, and I'm going to do that on both sides. Alright, I have the winch plate mounted, at least the large cross member winch plate. This Champion winch 4,500 is what I bought, and it came with its own little winch plate. So I'm actually going to mount that on top of this plate, because I don't trust this cross member on the trailer. It's only got one weld, and don't really trust that with 4,500 pounds. So what I've done is I've mounted this plate as my cross member, and I'm going to mount my little Champion plate to this. It should work. So I'm going to drill these 4 corners, and it's going to go through here, and it'll go all the way through this winch plate and this 1/8-inch steel cross member plate, and it should mount. I'm going to have to use different screws, but other than that, it should be no problem. So there's 2 holes, 2 more to go. All 4 holes are drilled with a cobalt drill. Yep. Alright, I've set the winch on and I've put 4 bolts in it. I just have to tighten them down now. They did fit fine through the 1/8 plate and the winch plate. Looks like Champion left some room for error there. So I can just use those stock screws. So I'll tighten these down and we'll start figuring out other problems. So this winch came with a set of rollers for the front of it, but you can see that my 1/8" plate is holding me out, so I probably won't be able to use the factory screws or bolts. So I'm probably just going to use some of my bolts that I bought and just stick them through, and I'm going to use this factory roller set. It looks pretty nice. And then from there it's going to have a straight shot upward, and we'll have to just put a permanent snatch block on that to keep it from rubbing on the metal. But I'll go ahead and mount this. Alright, so I had to take it back off because I couldn't fit my factory bolts through here. So I took it back off and I've got it wrenched back down with the bolts in it. We'll try this again. Alright, all tightened up. It's got a little angle on it because of the way that the winch plate, the new winch plate, the 36" one, affects the little winch plate, but I think it'll be okay. It seems sturdy. It's not moving any. So that'll be fine for our uses. Okay, now we'll move on to the electrical. Try to set up the battery box somewhere in here, or maybe even on the side. There's plenty of room. So we'll get that figured out.